Hey y'all, it's Day. So I'm really glad to be back here. I did want to let you guys a little bit in on my process for uploading because I'm saying I'm back, but my process is usually I will record videos consecutively. So let's say if I'm starting tonight, I'll do um 5 videos like over the course of the next couple of days, and then I usually take a break from that point, and then I start to review the videos, take notes for my summaries that I post to my public and personal page, green underscore underscore thoughts, and that's where you'll see where I post the summaries to the readings. And then I will start uploading the videos to Patreon. So that kind of happens over the course of 2 weeks, just because I, make sure that I'm in the right mindset to do these readings. And then sometimes I take a break before reviewing them. So, for example, I might do an hour-long reading, and then I'll actually go back and watch that entire reading over just to make sure that it's making sense. I take notes on it, and I'm learning as I'm doing these readings as well. And I continue to be surprised. So, it's just to make sure that I'm, providing quality content for you guys, and just being accountable and understanding what I'm doing. And like I said, I'm just learning as I'm going as well, and I really do enjoy the process. I try my best to provide really good quality work for you guys, and so I hope that you guys enjoy it. I do feel good about the videos that I've already done on Patreon so far, and I hope that you guys are enjoying it and getting filled from it as well, because I definitely take away from the readings that I've been doing as well. So yeah, let me go ahead and get started. I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen that I have updated my website, and I hope that that provides you a little bit more clarity, a little bit more content or depth as far as where I'm coming from with my readings and my thoughts, and the progression of my readings or the direction of my readings. And of course, if you guys have any questions or concerns or any topic suggestions, anything like that for me, definitely leave it in the comments below, or you can direct message me as well. That's another thing that I added to the service that I provide here on my Patreon, is that you do have the ability to direct message me. As for right now, and in the future, I'll update it as the community grows. But as for right now, I am accepting direct messages on this platform on Patreon. So if you have anything that you want to talk to me about, definitely feel free to do so. So we have the Seven of Wands, which came out here, and I'm hearing forthright. Very interesting. And with that, I'm just seeing someone having the energy of pushing through, someone having the will to push through something, despite, and what it feels like, the opposition feels like, despite what others may have to say. It feels like words. Like me, I can feel when when I'm being talked about, and it's not necessarily like it's in real time, like, oh, somebody is talking about me, like paranoia. It's just like chatter, and and I don't necessarily personalize it as far as like, oh, maybe like this specific person is trying to attack me, but it's just like I could feel that chatter. I could feel like maybe opinions or oppositional opinions. And with this Seven of Wands, it just feels like the word anchoring is coming through. It feels like someone having the courage to move forward with integrity and a form of like self assuredness, self empowered esteem, like just like with their head up, moving forward with their head up. And I'm getting this feeling of like imagining someone walking through a crowd and like people being on both sides and kind of like not hate crime, but like imagine that many people just being like, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't, you, and people just having all different type of energies and thoughts and opinions about what you're doing, and that person either just walking through it with their chin up, and the word anchored came through, like just knowing. I'm hearing birthright as well, your birthright, walking through with this birthright that you have that maybe not have been exercised in society, or something that may be considered taboo, or something that other people may not understand, or something that may seem like frowned upon, and still kind of just walking through with that knowingness, like I said, that willpower, and that self-esteem, and that knowingness of your birthright to move ahead. And also I'm getting with this knowing that you are protected in a sense, because you're following your own path, you're following your own intuition, you're following, you know, your own feels like following, the word narrative is coming through. You're following your own narrative. There was this quote that came through. I may post it here on Patreon, since I realized that I could share posts, but it's like I'm gonna post it after I post this video. What was it? I forgot it. You guys will see it. And very interesting. Oh, it's like, I will own my own truth and my narrative. Something like that. I own my own truth and I own my narrative and my truth. Something like that. Like you own your story. You realize that whatever this is, that based off of what I described, it's a part of your narrative, it's a part of what you're meant to do in life, or what you're meant to express in life. That is your truth. And the Justice card came out here at the bottom. So definitely, this is definitely speaking to a part. The word birthright came through again. This is speaking to a part of that knowingness that you have. I'm hearing stillness and your birthright, and you being anchored in it. Like maybe nobody else knows it, or no one else thinks it's true, but you know it to be true, and you're standing with integrity, whatever this is, that society may not be a proof to, or maybe family, friends, society, or people in your immediate, or even a little bit further out than your immediate, like friends, family, co-workers, relatives, passerbyers, may have something to say or feel some type of way. It's kind of like this awareness of the ripple effect, and that's kind of a part of this Seven of Wands. Is it's not always necessarily that other people are gonna be judging you and seeing you, but whatever this is that's your calling that you're walking into, you kind of are aware of the ripple effect of your actions. You're aware that even though we're not affecting people financially or physically, um, we just know that it may make other people feel uncomfortable, or we know that there may be certain conversations that need to be had. We know that it may change people's perspective of us, whether that is them maybe viewing you differently, or maybe thinking, oh, well, this person is not who I thought they were. Or sometimes it's like thinking of a statue in a museum when the lights go off. Not all the lights go off, but when everybody leaves and it just has the spotlight on there. Like sometimes when we walk into our truths, or follow things that we're being called to do in our life, the spotlight kind of changes or shifts, where it's not so much that you change, but another aspect of you is now visible. It's kind of like that. And it's kind of like some people may be like, well, I didn't know all of that. I didn't know they was into that. I didn't know that they thought like that. I didn't know that they moved like that. I didn't know that they could do that or do this. So yeah, it's kind of like the word authority is coming up. I don't know. Okay. It's kind of like I'm getting this nervous energy of it's kind of like you're learning as you go as well. So I'm getting a little hint of embarrassment, or that feeling of not going on stage, but that courage that someone has to be seen, basically. The courage that someone has to be seen. And the nervous feeling that could come with going all out. Like imagine having to dance in front of people, and that feeling that you get where you might want to do the dance, but then you know that if you're going to go to the extent to put yourself on stage, you need to do more than just go with emotions. You have to, in a way, allow and trust yourself to do the full motions. You have to like fully commit to it. And there's this kind of, I'm hearing intimidation. There's kind of this awareness and nervousness around, I don't want to look like a fool. Like, what if I go all out and I'm looking like a complete idiot type of energy. So something about you following your will that other people in society, in your personal environment, may feel some type of way with, that you have an awareness of whatever it is that you're going to do, it's going to shift some things about either the way people perceive you, how the way people move around you, what people may or may not say, how people may react, how other people may take it or interpret it or be affected by it. Something about that awareness, very interesting. But with the Justice card coming out, it's definitely speaking to the fact that this is your truth, and like I said, with this red, you're anchored in it. Whew. So, let me straighten out my legs because, why did I do this? I just think about this now. I always like start off laying sitting in Indian style, and then I always have to, because my legs, this blood circulation. Okay, so we also have the 5 of Swords, which came out sideways at the top here, and underneath that, slightly underneath, we have the 6 of Cups, which also came out sideways. Very interesting. The word Republican came through, and I'm not sure why. Very interesting. We also have the Tower card, which fell on top of this Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups can represent like past relationships or dear relationships, childhood relationships. The word fumbling is coming through. Something about this friendship or some type of relations, communication, associations that you might have with certain people may change. And of course, that's what we were talking about too, where we have this awareness that certain things may shift. And with the Six of Cups coming out, it does feel like dear relationships or dear associations. Interesting. And then we had the Tower card come out. Oh, okay, the word ripple effect is coming through. So yeah, the Tower card coming out on top of this is definitely speaking to that, the fact that some relationships are going to be changing in some way. And that doesn't necessarily mean ending. Then ripple effect. Okay. So with this ripple effect that we have awareness of, it is acknowledging that some shifts are going to be happening in regards to our relationships. With the Tower card. Okay. Okay. Ripple effect. Oh. What? Okay. So this ripple effect, I'm just trying to get more information from this card. So thank you for being patient with me. So with this Tower card, it's telling me here that it's giving me insight to how this ripple effect of your will and you following your truth and acting on your truth and being steadfast and anchored in your truth as you walk through it is giving me insight on how others are going to, I guess, interpret it or react to it or feel about it. So on top of this Tower card, we had the Eight of Swords in reverse. So this is kind of leaving, I'm hearing dusk to dawn. This is kind of leaving these people in your environment in a state of like melancholy or like kind of feeling lost or feeling a little destitute is coming through, a little bit bewildered. Something about your truth is kind of leaving them feeling like, what? Like, well, what do I do now? Or how do I it's kind of like this, very interesting, because I guess I just wasn't expecting that much of an impact or for it to impact them this way. But basically your truth and your will is going to really make other people think. And of course that brings why you're kind of concerned about how you living your truth is going to affect other people, but I'm seeing these people kind of being affected in a way where they're left feeling bewildered in a way. And the reason why I was kind of hesitant about that is because I'm like, I want to know why. Like, oh really? Like, really? So yeah, it's kind of basically, and it's not necessarily for you to worry about, but it's kind of like whatever it is that you're living your truth makes other people have to reassess their own life or try to like recalculate or make sense of their own life, because some people are just like um so used to or accustomed to living certain ways. The word traditions is coming up. People are conditioned to think of things in a certain way, and go about things in a certain way, and kind of live in this box. And by seeing you live and walk in your truth, and not only you're just doing things, um, they can kind of sense this heaviness, or this heaviness around you that shows up um, as your self-assuredness or this strong will. It's just kind of like they see you as like, maybe they know something that I don't know. It's kind of like, it's one thing if somebody's doing something taboo that most people would feel like you need to conform to, or you're doing something outside the norm, but it's like, from their perspective, they don't even see any insecurities about it. And it's not because you don't have insecurities about it, or that you're not aware, or you're not, in some way, shape, or form worried, or, have empathy towards obviously how you are impacting other people. Um, but from their perspective, it's kind of like they are kind of, the word shocked is coming through, in awe, and a little concerned, um, just for their own personal calculations, because it's kind of like, not only is this person not following the norm, but they're kind of like, they're really self-assured. And the word self-righteous is coming up through again, and it came through in at the beginning of the reading, but I didn't say it because I wanted a little bit more context. But self-righteousness is coming through, so that may be another thing, another perspective that some people may see you as, like you're self-righteous. And the thing is, if you do have to deal with that, I want you to just continue to be steadfast. Of course, we definitely don't want to be self-righteous, but we also have the understanding that just because someone else perceives us as that doesn't mean that's what we are. Um, but that's kind of the energy that you are giving off. Like, they're just kind of like, they're going outside the norm, and they're so sure of themselves too. It's kind of like the audacity. It's kind of like, they may be wondering as well, some of them, not all, may be wondering as well, do you realize the impact that you're making? Do you realize the waves that you're kicking up? Do you realize how you're breaking our social constructs? Do you realize how you are breaking the tradition? You know what I'm saying? So, this is not necessarily the example that I'm getting through, but example is kind of like, I don't know why I'm thinking of Thanksgiving, but it's like, Thanksgiving, and maybe something someone is wanting to do to kind of get out of those old traditions, and not necessarily throw it away, but do it differently. And someone else is just like, we've never in all of 15 years, the Thompsons have never done this for Thanksgiving. It's kind of like, do you realize the impact? Do you realize that you're shaking and stirring things up for everyone? And it's kind of like, you do have this awareness, but because of the work and the groundedness that you've been doing, you are also aware that when you're called to do something, and the time that you spent on basically building up the courage to do this, and the fact that you already know that you are aware of the changes that you're going to make, you're still going to follow through with it because that's what you're being called to do. And it's a part of your purpose, and it's most importantly a part of your truth. So you know that you're going to be making waves, but from for other people's perspective, I'm hearing realigned. It makes other people, like I said, kind of recalibrate and think like, if this could be that for this person, then what does that mean for me? What does that mean for what I've been doing my whole life? What does this mean? And some people can like kind of project and kind of feel like if someone else is living outside of what their social constructs, they're kind of like, oh, so what I taught you doesn't mean anything. Oh, so the way, it's kind of like you're insulting them in a way. But I'm not necessarily getting that energy that someone's going to attack you or confront you in that way, but that's just kind of the energy that these people are feeling. It's making them kind of rethink, well, if you're doing this, what have I been doing my whole life? So you're trying to tell me that I didn't need to do all of that? It's kind of making them ruminate and think about how they've been living their lives, and the word exchanges is coming through. So they're thinking about the exchanges and what the ways that they've been doing things. And an example is kind of like, I don't know about you guys. You guys let me know your perspective, because I know every child has its own story. And I think it's so important to listen to all of them because they're all different and just as complex. But in my household, I was the oldest, or the first child. So when I grew up, my parents are more like, this is what it is and this is what it's not. It's more black and white. But then when my younger brother was born, he was naturally more vocal, and he expressed more, and he bargained more, he debated more, he was just more he asked questions more. So naturally, because of that, he got to do more things that I did, aside from the fact that he was younger than me. And we know that like younger people usually be a little bit more lenient just because of the growth. Time changes. You really, when you look at it, you can't expect your parents to be exactly the same with you, because they're supposed to learn more, they're supposed to grow, things are constantly changing. But I had that experience in my life where there's certain things that were black and white, yes or no for me, and I didn't really question it because they had that strict authority. But then when my brother came along, he was getting away with things that I could never, and to me it was just kind of like what? Like he can do that? So he could just say that like that, and y'all okay. Oh, okay. So yeah. So it definitely does make a difference, and basically you walking in your truth is kind of giving people that type of, is getting their mental minds churning where maybe it hadn't churned for a while. Like I'm seeing like dust and cobwebs and a little rust on these mental wheels that people's have, where they haven't really exercised anything outside the norm. I'm hearing anything outside of what may fall into whatever is that particular family group or association, their normatives. Wow, very interesting. Okay, so you're definitely making people think. So I'm really glad that this came up with this anxiousness or worrisome energy that you have around the impact that you're gonna have. This coming through the reading saying, yes, you will impact other people, and this is how they may be impacted. But that is all the more reason for you to continue to walk steadfast in what you've been called to do, with authority, with integrity, and with self-assuredness. Very interesting. And that's why that Tower card came out on top of this Six of Cups, which came out sideways, letting us know the word forthright is coming up again. Sometimes we have ties to our past relationships, current relationships, and long-standing relationships. And with this is kind of like saying like your friend that you've been friends with for 9 years or 10 years, or that childhood friend that y'all both, started first grade together, and so y'all have some type of loyalty to each other, some unspoken type of I have that person's back. Some of those things are gonna get I'm hearing restructuring. So we always talk about, shedding things in the spiritual community. But I do want to remind for all of us, for myself and for you guys, every time there's a transformation, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to lose friends or that things are going to be falling off. I do also want to invite the idea of, like the word just came, restructuring. Not necessarily just cutting people off and leaving people behind, but allowing room and space and the willingness to allow there to be a restructuring within our friendships, if that is possible. But the Tower card did come out, so it's definitely interesting energy. There's a little gnat in here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so annoying. So we also have the Ace of Cups, which came out in reverse. And I'm going to put it underneath, I'm feeling called to put it underneath this Seven of Wands. I'm hearing restructuring again, and the word condescending. And the word flattery is coming through too, but it kind of felt flippant. Like it kind of felt like maybe someone saying something off. You know when somebody could say something and you didn't quite hear them maybe, but you could still kind of feel the energy, or you could feel like it was like undercurrent type of, maybe like a backhanded type of comment, but not a little bit more subtle, something like that. So I just got a sentiment of that. The word nostalgic is coming through as well. I also heard hermit mode. And this Seven of Pentacles fell on top of this Justice card, which is very interesting. So something about your reputation is still in progress. I feel like it's when something grows, but it's still kind of sensitive. It's still soft. It hasn't completely, it's not completely 100% done. Or maybe like a fruit that grows on a tree. It's like almost done, but it's not just ripe just yet. That's kind of what it's feeling like. And it feels like in regards to your reputation or your character, but more really like how it's kind of like people's full thoughts of you are still downloading or something like that. Like people haven't gotten the full perspective of you. That's what it's feeling like. Possibly like it feels like for some people, I'm not sure, hopefully we'll get more clarity on this, if it's something for you to worry about, but it's just like people's clarity on you and who you are and what you stand for. Maybe people see you going about and doing things. Like we mentioned, people are witnessing you live and walk in your truth, but they kind of feel uncomfortable about it, or they don't really know. Like they can see you doing it and they can feel the greatness, and they're in awe of how you're doing it, but they kind of like, I guess I'm hearing they want to see where it goes. They want to see where it leads to or where you end up. So that's another thing about following your truth. Some people may have certain different opinions about it. But others people, even though they may seem to themselves or to you like they might be against you or not for you, it's kind of like they kind of want to see if you make it too, or they want at least want to update. You know what I'm saying? They at least want to update on where you'll be going forward. So that's quite interesting as well. Like, where are you gonna land? Where are these acts? To some people, like, I'm getting just different people's opinions. Where are these acts, or these, like, some people, usually older people to younger people, it's just a phase, or they're just acting out. They want to see how things are going to play out for you. Where will you end up from this point? And I'm seeing them uh, kind of in their own head, not directly to you, kind of projecting and kind of like putting themselves in your shoes. Like, if I would have did that back in my day, or maybe it's not even somebody that old. If I would do that, this would happen to me. So I'm seeing people looking at you that you're affecting, kind of in their own heads, um, switching places with you and kind of thinking about, maybe if I had the courage to do that, how would that have affected me? Or how would that affect me? Or what could I expect? And also trying to just figure out where your head is at. Because like I said, from the outside, people just see you as kind of like, I don't want to say free willy, but like I said, you have this assuredness and this anchorness in what you're doing. It's like, even though you have a certain awareness from the outside, they don't even feel like you're fazed by what others may think. That's the biggest thing that I think I've been trying to verbalize. It's like, they're kind of like, do they know the impact that they're making? Do they know that they're, creating tidal waves? Like, because they're just going through life like this is okay, or like this is not a big deal or something like that. So congratulations to you for walking in your truth, and congratulations to you for working so hard on this courage that you have. And I feel like another example that I have is when I was first starting to do these readings, before I posted any video online, I would just start recording myself and just watching them myself. And as I was learning my intuition and picking up the meanings of the cards, I would feel like, dang, I'm taking too long. And I would feel like 12 minutes went by. But really, in reality, when I went and watched the video, it's like 2 seconds as I'm going in between the cards, as far as like how I felt like, oh no, like self-conscious about, certain things in my reading. But when I went back to look at it, it wasn't that long. But sometimes when you're in it, it feels like it's lasting longer than whatever this embarrassing moment or whatever. And it's really not that. It's just when you're in it, it's harder to see it. And I feel like that speaks to how sometimes we can have insecurities, but from other people on the outside, they may not even be picking up all the stuff that we're worried about. So that's definitely showing through. If you have been putting in work and your courage and your authenticity and, just being yourself, congratulations, because that's definitely coming through here. And that she is beautiful. Okay, so yeah, we have this Ace of Cups in reverse. I did hear in a 4-year cycle, something about a 4-year cycle, and also integration. And then we had underneath that Ace of Cups this World card in reverse. So it may be speaking to like the work that you've done. It's giving me manifestation vibes as well, or something about like where you put your intentions to and how over time things are coming together in your favor, or just something that you have kind of built. The word antiquity kept coming through as well. So I'm not entirely sure, but it's kind of something, I feel like it's adding something about your thoughts and the elements, and how your thoughts triggered the elements to kind of come together. The word conformity is coming through. Oh, okay. It's a very interesting combination. I'm hoping to get some more clarity on this Ace of Cups and the World card, because it came out underneath the Seven of Wands. And I had so much to say earlier about the Seven of Wands and your will and pushing through your purpose. But it kind of feels like, a kind of like a larger than life, a generational type of thing. It feels kind of like a culmination of something in regards to generations and generations of people and how they've done things in the past. And it feels kind of like you're the game changer or something like that. Like oh, that's what I was hearing, 4-year cycle. I'm not sure how that exactly applies in your life, but it's kind of like you're the one that's going to change things, or you're the one that's going to move things. That something about traditions and patterns, you're going to be changing certain ways that's been happening for eons, or that's been happening across families for a long time. Antiquity just keeps coming up, and I'm not entirely sure. So we also had underneath that the Knight of Wands. I'm hearing rule breaker just now with this Knight of Wands, which came out sideways. And it's not necessarily like you want to be a rule breaker or you want to be a troublemaker, but it's like you have some certain type of courage that other people don't have. And it's not just because, it's not that you didn't work for it, this courage, because of the simple fact that we talked about your awareness of your ripple effect and how you may lose or break or change certain connections. And we talked about how you built the courage to live the life that you're living now. But with this Knight of Swords coming out, it's kind of like you have the courage to do things that other people won't do. You have this will about you that is saying like, I am living in my truth. This is kind of like how others are viewing you. And the Knight of Swords can sometimes get a bad rap where they say like they're, flaky, finicky, or just think without, move without thinking. And that's kind of how you can be viewed by some people. But it's like, basically what this is mainly coming out through for me is just like you have this courage. You're unwavering. You are courageous, daring. And then we also had the King of Swords, which accompanied it, 444 on the clock. And it also came out sideways. So for me, it's definitely feeling like you may be seen as this, but you're actually this, because what we've been speaking to this whole time, you've actually put in a lot of thought and care into the character that you are now playing courageously as yourself authentically. And that kind of goes back to how I was saying some people are viewing you and kind of like in their minds, like putting themselves in your shoes. Like, if I would have did that, then this would have happened. Or if I do that, I could never do that because then that would affect this and this would affect that. And you know, sometimes people can think about that thing and then say, I'm not going to do that altogether, even if it's their calling. But you're doing it anyway. The word radical is coming through as well. So some people may see you living your truth as radical, like, wow, you're very daring. Wow, the audacity. And some people, I did mention also, like, they may want to see you as like careless, or like I said, they see you with this air of like, are you even aware of the ripple effect that you're making? So to them, you could look like this, but you're actually the King of Swords. You put in a lot of thought into it, and that didn't come out reverse. That came out sideways. And if you've been following me as an intuitive reader, for me personally, and it doesn't have to be for you, when a card comes out sideways, it's letting me know that there's something that we can do on our end, or something that we can wait for, or something that can kind of change the trajectory of things. Like I said, you are actually the King of Swords. You've actually put in thought. You're actually steadfast. You're actually concise about and have made certain decisions deliberately in regards to your walk and how you're now acting out. But you have this courage about you. And the sword could also represent truth. So yeah. So that definitely adds a little bit more context to this world card in reverse. For me, the world card is always speaking to the fact that you are carried and that there are higher energies that we may not be able to see, that is kind of either watching over or guardianing certain elements that are moving within the air, that are coming together for our good. And the Ace of Swords. So let me see. At the bottom here, we also had the 8 of Coins. We have the Strength card. The word dedication is coming through. And the Emperor. Yeah, definitely a good combination here. So the word dedication is coming through with these cards. You definitely have had a dedication to your craft, a dedication to everything that we've been talking about. With the Emperor coming out, it's also like your root chakra, the steadfastness or the security within who you are. You've been working diligently on it. You've given it thought. Most importantly, I think with those 3 cards coming out, is definitely just speaking to, you're not just a radical for any reason. You're not just making waves and being inconsiderate of other people, but you're definitely not doing it because of consideration of other people, which means you're not dampening or suppressing who you are, maybe at all or any longer, because of how it may affect other people. And you're not just a radical, like I said, you're not just making waves and making splashes and making a mess for no reason. What you're doing that may be perceived as taboo to other people or out of society norms, it has a foundation, it has a meaning, it has a purpose, and it has a place, regardless if others need to make room for it or not. So the word landmark is coming through as well. It's kind of like you're claiming what is yours. And that's pretty awesome. Cool. And I don't think that I spoke about it earlier, but underneath this Five of Swords, we had the Two of Coins. The word resurrection is coming through. Interesting. Oh. The word thoughts is coming through. So I heard resurrection and thoughts. So it's kind of like this is representing other people's opinions and them kind of grappling with themselves internally. Like I said, you living your truth and walking your truth is making people think about the traditions and generations and thought forms and thought patterns that they've been living and saying and doing and holding certain type of expectations is making them rethink that. And resurrection and thoughts, it's like it's pulling back. It's like making people review something about the way that they've been living their lives. And then we had the Three of Cups, which came out in reverse. And underneath that, we had the Queen of Swords. For me, this is saying like, your truth may not be their truth, but there's kind of like a call for your mutual friends to have a certain level of respect, even if their truth is not your truth, even if maybe your lifestyle doesn't resonate with theirs. It's kind of like because of the integrity that you have in what you're doing, it's like people can still see, they can read that, they can recognize that. And it's kind of like, regardless, because we all have free will, they may or may not choose to do it, but it's kind of like they have to have, even if they don't agree with it, they have to have some kind of like mutual respect for it, because they can see the authenticity and they can kind of see how it's important, or it's important to you, or it may be important to someone down the line in their own family or their circle. Whether or not they become they realize it in this moment or in later moments or years. There's like this respect. Yep. And then on top of this Queen of Swords in reverse, fell this Four of Swords, and this is kind of them like having a reserve, being reserved about how they feel about it. Some people, when they don't know what to say, or they don't have good arguments or good judgments for why you shouldn't be doing what you do, they just, other than that it's not the norm, it's not tradition, they kind of will instead just decide to be quiet, be silent, or they'll hold their thoughts to themselves, be reserved. And I mean, I guess we'd rather them say that than to say something dumb. But it's like, I can't back it. I can't really say I support it, but I'm just gonna sit back. And that might kind of be tied into what I was saying earlier, where people kind of want to see where you're gonna go with this. Some people kind of want to see how things are gonna play out for you, with the way that you're acting out. To some people, they may see the way that you're acting as you live out your truth as what's it called, social suicide. Like I was saying earlier, like if I did that, then it would have been over for me, when they were putting themselves in your shoes. Like how I was when my brother was speaking up for certain privileges or things that he didn't feel like was right. And I was just thinking, like, if I would have said that, it would have been over for me, or it would have been taken a different way, or maybe it wouldn't have worked out for me, or even, dang, I didn't know that I could do that. He actually got some results. And people putting themselves in that type of situation. So I'm seeing like people that can't make good sound judgments or arguments, like in a way that where they can't really condemn you for what you're doing, and they're kind of in awe, but they still feel uncomfortable because they are still conditioned in these traditions. They're kind of just like reserved. And this Four of Swords came out with this Three of Wands. So it's definitely calling you, walking in your truth is calling people to reevaluate, and it may also cause them to kind of ask for more in their own personal lives, or demand more, or reclaim certain aspects that they never knew that they could claim in their life. And it's kind of making people feel like, dang, I didn't, oh, that's why that Eight of Swords came out earlier in reverse, where we were saying that people are kind of feeling kind of set back and kind of feeling like the word dismantled is coming through. It's kind of like, you know how in the spiritual community we always talk about false narratives, or like when certain people wake up and they realize that things were not as they seemed, that it was all a social construct. It's kind of that feeling people are realizing by seeing you live and walk in your truth that what they felt they couldn't do, or some things that they accepted long time ago, they really could have stepped out and did what they really wanted to do. And while some people may, they deal with triggers in a certain way, some people will actually defend the status quo. Some people will reflect on it. Some people will see, like we said here, they're reserved. They can't really think of a good counteractive, so they'll just stay quiet. As I mentioned earlier, I'm getting a lot of different opinions and a lot of different perspectives of how people are reacting to you. And it's kind of like, this is also an opportunity for these people to actually free themselves. Again, it's another opportunity for them to reevaluate their lives and maybe ask for certain things that they were suppressed by maybe their mom and dad, or their society, or the people that grew up in their time, or just their environment. Some people will choose to like talk down about you, or also put you down, or be a part of that constraints of the social constructs. And then some people will take this as an opportunity to try to grow and say, like, kind of like I was with my brother, like, oh dang, he actually, stood up for himself, or he asked for more, or he negotiated and he got some results. Maybe I should try to do that too. Maybe it was never really fair. Maybe it was never really a big deal. Maybe, different things in their heads. Very interesting. Thank you for helping me with that. Okay. So, earlier we got the Justice card, speaking to your truth and your steadfastness, and contributing to the anchored nobility that you have within your truth. And then conformity is coming through as I pulled this Seven of Coins card, where people are kind of still uploading their full thoughts. They're still trying to determine the full thoughts or perspective that they have about you as they're watching you do what you do, and trying to develop their thoughts. On top of that, we had the High Priestess in reverse on top of that Seven of Coins. So it's like something about you following your truth through your intuition. Let me see. Braces. Okay. Let me see if I can straighten up my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh. Okay. So over here we have the Two of Swords in reverse. And we have the Seven of Swords in reverse. And the word inkling is coming through. An inkling. The word commercial vehicle is coming through. Okay. Okay. So with all that being said, with commercial vehicle coming through, we're definitely approaching a next stage in our life, or another arena or level within our lives that we're going to be called to move to and move towards, which is very interesting. These are two sword cards, very significant sword cards as well. The Two of Swords can speak to decisiveness. It rules Libra and the moon, being able to make decisions, but also being able to make decisions with your intuition. As you can see, she is blinded, so she can't see. She may have to use her other senses, like hearing, feeling, hearing as in listening, to see what's going on in her immediate environment. And with the Seven of Swords, it's traditionally known as, like, something skeptic could be going on, like someone behind the scenes doing something that another person may not know about, like possibly trying to get away with something. Okay, the word naysayers is coming up with this Two of Swords and this Seven of Swords. So I was speaking about earlier in this video that I could sometimes feel when other people are talking or chattering about maybe certain things that I'm doing or certain projections, and not necessarily in a paranoid way, but I could just feel something about what you guys can feel. Like you could feel that you may make an impact or affect certain people certain ways by doing what you do. And with the word naysayers coming up here, it's kind of speaking to some of those projections. And a big part of this commercial vehicle and us moving to the next stage is being able to deal with those projections in a way where we're not allowing it to shake us up, or I'm not sure if that's a word, unground us, like destabilize us in our walk, or not making us doubt or question ourselves. Just very important. And as I say that, the Nine of Swords comes out, which can speak to that paranoia, that this is the perfect card to describe what I'm saying. Like when people are talking and chatting about you, or you just have this anxiety, this unrest, because you're worried about the ripple effect of your impact on others, what others may say or do, and things like that. What also came out was the Two of Cups. It came out sideways here. And we have the Death card. Wow. Which also came out sideways. underneath this Nine of Swords. Okay. I'm hearing ego death. And the word chatter as well. So ego death. Something about this experience of worrying about what other people may say or do. Anytime that is rooted in fear, like we're worried about what other people say, because we fear kind of what these other people are feeling and thinking when they're putting themselves in your shoes. I think we're really being asked to kind of remember this feeling, remember what it feels like to be concerned, because we're moving to the next stage of our lives in regards to this journey or this lesson, the next stage. And something about that next stage is going to be, I'm hearing rooted in faith. Something about that is going to be very important. And it may be like a humility piece that we can offer to others. It's definitely going to be a stability piece, as in we're remembering a time when we were afraid, and maybe we're going to a stage where that's no longer going to be a thing for us, or a big, monster under our beds, worried about what other people think, or, falling short to social anxiety. But something about that is asking us to remember it. So I'm definitely going to meditate on that feeling. I, definitely try a little bit at a time to practice into feeling more deeply into certain fears that I have, to try to maybe just get used to that feeling. Not get used to it as in I'm going to always feel it, but kind of like that's my way of facing the fear in meditation, where I just kind of ponder on that, like, that embarrassing moment that you may have had, just kind of surrendering to it in a way, and getting to the end of it can be very rewarding but very challenging at the same time. I'm hearing defeat at the end, so I feel like defeating these things is giving me like 12th house vibes, like hidden realities. I've recently in the last year just been made aware of by the psychic medium Matt Frazier. He was talking about in one video how when someone maybe is praying for you, you could feel it, even though you may not be aware that someone is praying for you. Your body, your aura can pick up on that. It does affect you. Same if someone's gossip about you, or people are talking about you, you can kind of feel it. You can feel unrest. It does affect us. We're not always aware of it because everybody's not, spiritual or whatever. But it's kind of speaking to that. And with the Two of Cups coming out underneath this Death card and the Nine of Swords, it's kind of like this emotional ties or these emotional bonds that we may have to certain people. And also in relation to certain associations that we may have that is affected by us walking in our truth. How we, like it was saying earlier, the exchanges that we have. Interesting. We also have the Queen of Cups and the Empress. I'm going to check and see if there's anything else that we need to know regarding this reading. The word danger is coming through, and it's just kind of like our awareness of it. Like I said, this social, this idea of social suicide by simply walking your truth, being yourself. That's something that all humans, we need each other and we need community. Some of us are perfectly fine, like myself, being by myself, but at the end of the day, I do need that human connection just like anyone else. We all do, whether or not we want to realize it or admit it. The Hermit card here at the bottom of the deck. Then we have the Queen of Wands in reverse, speaking to that courage. On top of this, on top of this Four of Swords, we were saying earlier, people are going to have to kind of rethink about their own lives and how they've been living it, or bow out of conversation, or decide not to, if they decide not to be agreeable, they kind of just stay quiet or reserved about it. On top of that fell the Hanged Man, where, like I said, whether or not they choose to acknowledge it to you about, what you're doing, they're kind of be held in suspense. Like I said, they have an opportunity to kind of recalibrate things in their own life or reclaim certain things in their own life simply by watching you do it. Because like I said, some people are watching you and they kind of want to see where it goes. And remember, this card is coming out under the Three of Cups. Our immediate family, our immediate friends, our social clubs, our social groups, our social associations, all of that is in question when we decide to be who we really are. And so these people that you are affecting, they're going to be called to go into that, to follow suit and go into that Hanged Man energy. And underneath this Tower card and the Eight of Swords, we have the Nine of Wands, which came out sideways. And that Tower card and the Eight of Swords was talking about these people as well, as far as them feeling kind of set back or taken back by your actions. So we have Nine of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, Four of Wands, which came out sideways, and the Five of Pentacles, and the Page of Cups. So, to break this down, a bruised ego could come with this. The way that you're affecting these other people and making them kind of rethink their own lives. Some people can't stand it when they see other people living in their truth so confidently from their perspective. It kind of agitates them because they feel like, I couldn't do it, you shouldn't be able to do it. So by seeing you do this, it's a tender spot for them. It kind of leaves them feeling a little bit bruised, their ego bruised a little bit, and kind of wishing or thinking about the time spent where they haven't done, or thinking on past things that they haven't done that you are doing now. But not only that, the work and the development that it may take to get to the place where you are as well. So not only have I missed time out on doing something that you're just coming out and doing seemingly so freely and so boldly and lackadaisically, But in order for me to do that, if I do decide to do it, these are the ways that it will affect me in my life. But also, I need time to develop that. So they're looking and realizing all of that. But still, even with that, Spirit is basically coming through to acknowledge us, because at some point in our lives, we'll probably be on their end as well, which is why I think we're being reminded of the anxiety that when commercial vehicle came out, that we may need to have some humility for people that feel this way, because and there's so many aspects of life, we'll probably find ourselves on this end as well at some point, because of social constructs. Like, we'll never have everything figured out. 20 years from now, we'll be like, well, back in my day, I couldn't do this. I mean, I did some things, but so I think it's kind of speaking to that humility as well. But the reason why Spirit is bringing this up is because it's showing us, of giving us a glimpse of what is available to them, what they're going to be feeling, what they're thinking, and what is also still available for these people that are kind of putting themselves in your shoes, if they decide to have the courage that you have. And that's another reason why it's so important to know that when we step into our truth, we ripple effect other people and give other people permission to do the same. So they're feeling bruised. They have to go through this bruised ego, and at first and foremost acknowledging it, so that they can be inspired. This came out sideways, letting them know that this is something that they can achieve if they allow it for themselves, if they free themselves. This is also going to affect them financially and bring in new opportunities if they follow suit and do the work to begin that journey that you are now so boldly moving through. A sense of peace is coming through with this Four of Wands, which came out sideways, that is also available to them. A fortitude and a level of peace of mind. It's a level of self-fulfillment and joy that is available to them. Like I said, this is an opportunity that's being available to them. Some people may choose to instead reinforce the status quo and maybe not dig a little bit deeper. Some may choose to only see you as, remember we were saying earlier, some people choose to see you as, oh, you're radical, you're just moving too quickly, or you're careless, not realizing that you're also this, if they actually, take a deeper look into what you're doing and why it's important and the purpose behind it. And then we have the Five of Pentacles, which also came out sideways underneath that. And we have the Page of Cups. So it's kind of like they're going to get to a place where they may feel like they have to lose certain things, like social groups. So all these cards, remember, came out underneath this Tower card and the Eight of Swords, where they're feeling trapped and still kind of taken back and in awe, and by seeing you, realizing how they've been either holding themselves back or been held back by society, and now they have an opportunity to free themselves. But those two cards were underneath the Six of Cups, where we were talking about way earlier in the reading about certain associations or old ties, old friendships that we may want to hold on to, or we may feel like we have some type of obligation to. So by them having the opportunity to follow in suit and kind of redefine or reclaim certain aspects of themselves that either they reclaim either that they suppressed or other people around them in their environment suppressed, they have the opportunity to basically follow suit in the same way that you have. But in order to do that, these are some of the stages that they have to go through, where I'm hearing destitute, where they might have to let go of some of those associations. or basically just go through the whole process that you've gone through up until this point. Some of you have already probably lost friends, or have had certain arguments, or had to have certain discussions with certain people in your lives, or had to go through the hermit mode and take some space to yourself. They're basically going through the same thing, and Spirit is just basically showing what all is available to them if they do that in that process. So this is the ripple effect of you living and walking in your truth. Okay. Underneath this hanged man that they're going to be going through, or they're going to be basically initiated or given the opportunity to go into if they can recognize your truth, is the Four of Pentacles, offering stability, a new foundation, an opportunity for a new foundation. We also have the King of Cups, kind of like sometimes when we get stuck in these traditions, we get stuck in them in a way where we don't feel anything else. So it's kind of like gonna ask them to kind of let their hair down, or try to, it's like a recalibrating or redefining of values. So an example would be redefining what success looks like, redefining what strength looks like, that type of thing. And we have the Six of Wands in reverse. They have to also go through this stage where it feels like they're losing. It feels like they're being stripped of certain things that they've tied to their identity that wasn't necessarily authentic to their lives. So you guys probably already know about that, being on this spiritual journey. Sometimes it looks like, or it might feel like, you're taking L's. Like, let's say you're going on a minimalistic lifestyle, or maybe you're changing your diet, and your friends are still going out to eat and eating certain foods, and it kind of just feels like an L. Like, man, my friends are drinking. I kind of feel left out. I don't really know what to do. I feel displaced. It kind of feels like you're taking an L sometimes, but it's like it's in reverse as in that feeling, but you're actually winning. Yes, for something greater with this Nine of Pentacles. This is you valuing yourself. This is literally you redefining what your values are, and what success looks like for you. Valuing yourself in a new way. Okay, so on top of this Death card, which was accompanied by this Nine of Swords, let's see what cards came out. We have the Empress, the Queen of Cups. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, okay. This was a Two of Cups. It was also accompanied by this Two of Cups. Thank you, Booba. So, let me see. So the Empress, the Queen of Cups, Page of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, the energy exchanges. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune, you're definitely being carried along the way here. We're definitely being carried to a new journey, and like even for ourselves, the Death card came out. So there's some kind of transformation that's coming towards us in regards to our exchanges, and like I said, being reminded of how we're being viewed or thoughts that other people have. With that commercial vehicle coming out, something about that we need to remember. And with the Empress and the Queen of Cups, it's like to have compassion for others that are going to be going through the same thing as you. And with the Page of Pentacles, we're going to be going into a new stage that is going to affect us in our physical lives, in our physical, or like money-wise, material-wise. It's like a new stage where we're going to be learning new things. But we're also going to be a messenger in some way, shape, or form. And something about this Wheel of Fortune, it just feels very great, very special. I feel like we're getting a badge or something. We're going to be getting a badge, and that's why we're being reminded to have humility and to remember the moments where we felt like we were the ones under fire or under multiple projections, and to make sure that we get that out of our system. The word regrets is coming up. Any form of like regrets that we may have had regarding past experiences. Oh, okay, interesting. And exchanges. So yeah, I actually look forward to our next reading that we have. Hopefully we get some more clarity about this next stages. Of course we will. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This was a pretty long video. I hope that y'all had snacks. I didn't even remind you in the beginning, but y'all should already know the vibes because I be very comfortable when I be doing these readings, and I hope you guys are too. But if you got to the end of this video, definitely let me know. I'm on 48 minutes here, and I think the other video before I had to stop, it was like 35 minutes. So yeah, definitely one of the longer videos. I hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations, and I hope that we continue to grow and evolve together. Bye.